You do not decide to chase. That is why it is difficult to notice when it begins. It feels like interest, like curiosity, like something natural. But here is the question. When does attention turn into action? Action follows where attention stays. Your attention is already returning on its own. You think about them. You notice their absence. You wait for something to happen. Nothing forces you to act. But your focus is already there. Attention creates direction. Then a small shift happens. You begin to move toward interaction. You check, you reread, you open the conversation again. Not because you made a decision, but because your attention is already engaged. Movement begins without decision. This is where control starts to weaken. You are no longer choosing when to engage. You are responding to where your attention is already placed. It feels natural, but it is no longer intentional. Natural is not the same as controlled. The more this repeats, the less visible the trigger becomes. You do not notice what started the action. You only notice that you are already doing it. The beginning disappears. The trigger becomes invisible. Now the behavior feels justified. You tell yourself it makes sense. You tell yourself it matters. But the action is not coming from logic. It is coming from attention that is already activated. Reason follows behavior. At this point, chasing is no longer a choice. It is a response. You move toward what already holds your attention. Not because you decided to pursue, but because your focus is already there. You follow what already pulls you. So return to the question, why do you start chasing without deciding? Because attention leads and behavior follows. And once action begins without conscious control, the system moves further. In the next lesson, we look at what happens when even your focus is no longer stable. You act before you choose.